Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Flavor and Fiction. So I haven't posted in a while, and that is for two reasons. One, a few weeks ago I got the flu, and just the regular flu, not the Rona. And I did not feel like reading anything. And the other reason is because the book I chose, it took me a while to get through. It was a long journey, literally. The category I chose was a book that received bad reviews when it first came out. And I chose On the Road by Jack Kerouac. And it's not super long. I mean, I think it's around about 300 pages, but it took me almost like 2 months to read this. Just because there's so much packed in so few pages that it feels like it gets heavy. Like even when it's happy, it's just so much, so many names, so many details. It's just so much that you kind of want to take a step back from it, but I'm finally finished and I can finally post this video. Now the recipe, the secret ingredient, there was a lot of food mentioned because, you know, they're on the road, stopping here, diners, packing sandwiches, doing whatever. But for breakfast, a couple of times they stopped at a diner and had some eggs. So I chose the egg as my special ingredient. And so I'm going to be showing you, I actually made the recipe like weeks ago when I thought I was going to finish the book. But I made a fancy egg salad. It's not that fancy. But yeah, so I'm going to show you the recipe for the egg salad and we'll talk about the book. Okay, so our protagonist is a college student named Sal, and he meets a friend of a friend, like, you know, at a get together, and meets this guy named Dean, who's around his age, a couple years younger, just got out of jail, and is looking for a good time. And something about Dean just fascinates him, the way he grasps life. He hardly ever sleeps. He's running here, he's running there. He always has everyone's attention, like he sucks the air out of the room, but something about that really draws Sal in. And the book pretty much covers 3 years of their friendship and travels and adventures together. So on a break from school, like summer or spring break, something like that, Sal decides he wants to see the world. He wants to head out west and hook up with some of his friends. And he travels part of the way with Dean and then finishes by himself. And between his travels across the country, he starts in New York and goes all the way to California and Colorado. And he keeps meeting back up with Dean. And every time he does, there's just something, you know, they have this understanding. They kind of lock into each other and get entangled in each other's lives. The reason why it's hard to really discuss this book is because there's no set storyline. There's no like, first they did this, then this happened, and that happened. It's all a jumble. And I enjoyed the book, but like I said, I had to read a little bit at a time and get some space from it. Because there's just so many details and names being thrown out that it's hard to keep everything straight. But the book is set in, I want to say 1947. There's a lot of hitchhiking going on. They have these car shares to get across, you know, money runs out and they have to contact family members for help, and they have to work as they go, just life. And that was Sal's point. He was a writer. He was trying to get life experience, to soak it all up, probably to have more to write about. But he was drawn to the way that Dean lived life. Even if he wasn't the most, the best role model, he would marry one woman, get another woman pregnant, marry that woman, get another woman pregnant, go back and forth between like the three. Like he was just, and without a care in the world. He didn't really care about their feelings, but there was something sympathetic about his character that made you sort of root for him. And I think it's just that thing that's in everyone that has that kind of like wanderlust, that wants to leave it all behind and get in a car and not stop until they reach something different. So I think that really made me connect with the book. So Sal is attracted to Dean for, you know, his spirit of adventure and wanting to travel and see the world. But you don't really know why at first that Dean takes to Sal so much. But I think he envies that stability within Sal to take that adventure, take that excitement, and then filter it into his life. They end up really impacting each other, and you see a change in Sal throughout the book, where he starts off kind of depressed and just way too introspective, and he ends up learning how to enjoy the little things, how to express himself emotionally. So I can see the value in this book, even if there's no true storyline. I don't know if that's fair to say, but I can see why it's considered a classic. The images that it paints of the United States across the country, up, down, across, it's exciting. They eventually end up going to Mexico with another friend, and that's quite an adventure. It ended kind of abruptly, and again, I'm not going to give anything away, but a lot of people don't like the ending because they feel like the book is building to some big grand like boom, and then they feel kind of let down with the ending. But I liked the ending. I felt like it was realistic and still left you a little bit of interpretation. So I liked it. So I kind of recommend the book for anyone looking for some good travel literature. But again, give yourself a little space in between chapters because there's a lot going on. I'm just glad that I can finally return this book to the library because it's about a month overdue. The library is going to get like $5 out of me because of this. But it was worth it. So I'm going to show you now the recipe for the egg salad. So now we're going to take 2 of the eggs and remove the yolk. Okay, now we're just gonna mash them all up together. Okay, so I prefer to leave some like medium-sized chunks in there. My parents like it like small, like my mom will put it in the blender for a couple of seconds. So it all depends on how you like it. Next, we're gonna add our mayo. Since this is a Weight Watchers recipe, I decided to use light mayonnaise. I don't know if that's actually any better, but here we go. Okay, so the mayo is mixed in, and now you're supposed to add half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I went out and got some Grey Poupon because I'm fancy. So we'll add that in. And then you just salt and pepper to taste, and you are done. Was this not the easiest recipe ever? So I didn't have any plastic wrap, so I just covered it with aluminum, and we're gonna sit this in the fridge, get it nice and cold, and then it's ready. So I'm not doing a taste test on camera because I look good and crazy, but I like to eat mine on toast. So this is a good lunch or snack or whatever. Bon appetit. So as you can see, the egg salad was simple, delicious. It's supposed to make 4 servings, but I normally get 3 out of it. Oh well. It's the Grey Poupon that makes it so good. And yeah, so right now I know everyone is at home, quarantined, hopefully, unless you're essential personnel, which, I mean, I feel like those terms are a little offensive, but whatever. I feel like there are so many people that have to like fight to work from home. And if you're one of those people, I am sorry. I hope your job treats you better, or you find a job to treat you better. My office at first shut down for like 2 weeks. And then as things were getting crazier and crazier. They sent us an email and they were like, we'll see you April 10th. So I was shocked to hear that from my job, but very much appreciative. And so I'm going to hopefully get a lot of reading done, not like I have been doing this year. This is like my first official book of the year, because the only episode of Flavor and Fiction that I did this year was for my last 2019 book. So I am off to a very slow start. But now that I've got all this time on my hands, you will be seeing me again soon. But thank you for joining me for another episode of Flavor and Fiction, and stay safe out there.